Hey guys, it's Roslyn, and I'm going to talk about chapters 10, 11, and 12 today for our Elements of Speech class. So, in chapter 10, we talk a lot about speech anxiety and speech apprehension. So, the anxiety part is really just a general fear of speaking in front of other people, and the book talks about how it has biological, chemical reactions that occur. I know that I get butterflies and sometimes my hands sweat before I have to speak in front of people. And I generally end up taking a deep breath before I say anything just to kind of calm myself down. With speech apprehension, that's more severe and that can actually affect general conversations. So you might have a fear of talking to people in public at a party or something like that. Um, so treatments that the book was talking about for anxiety, it mentioned systematic desensitization, and that was picturing yourself giving the speech, going through the process in your head, and then that way you're kind of practicing in a way. And then obviously you want to practice your speech before you give it because you don't want to get up there and not know what you're going to say and look stupid. So, um, one interesting part that was in chapter 10, it was talking about intelligibility, and that's a degree to which the audience can hear and understand you. I'm pretty sure all of us had to do Easter speeches when we were little, and I know my mom, not even just Easter speeches, but I had to give announcements in church, and so I had that public speaking background growing up. But she always made me rehearse and made sure that I enunciated my words and I pronounced things correctly. And, when I was little, I was like, oh my God, why are you doing this to me? But now I'm glad that she got on me as much as I did, as much as she did. So um, I can be more of an eloquent speaker, so to speak. So, chapter 10 starts talking about the informative speech. Our persuasive speech is informative to a degree. You're just not trying to convince anyone of anything. So, the four main topics of informative speech were objects, so that's just people, places, and things, processes, the chronological order of something, events, World War II, the Civil War is probably going to come up a lot when we do the Confederate speeches, Confederate flag speeches, and then concepts. When we talked about the effects of the war on drugs on the black community, that was kind of a concept because it was an idea of something, and we gave a lot of facts. And then chapter 12 talks more about persuasive speeches. So when we did our speeches, we not only gave facts, but we gave facts to kind of convince our audience of something. So we wanted to convince our audience that the war on drugs negatively impacted the black community, um, and that the effects ended up being long lasting. So, with persuasive speeches, the book was talking about you want to select a topic that you're interested in. That was something that we were interested in. It was current. Um, we had a goal to influence our audience, and then it was worthwhile. Obviously, in a class full of minorities, that's an interesting topic on how, you know, this policy that's supposed to help control drug use seems to affect minorities more than it does, white individuals. So that's obviously any topic that kind of has to deal with anything that affects minorities more so than white people is usually an interesting topic to a minority group of people. And then with persuasive speeches, you may want to question facts, so you may want to talk about what's true and false, and you want to discuss future effects of these topics. You want to question value, so good or bad, desirable, undesirable. Essentially, it makes me think about discussing the morality of something. And then the third one that I talked about was questioning policy. So you may want to talk about a government or political policy that you think is really good, or you may want to make a suggestion about how to make it better. So that's essentially the stuff that we talked about in 10, 11, 12 that I found more interesting. And then I'll see you guys when I give my evaluation of the class. Have a good one.